Right. So one of the other things that a lot of people don't think about when they first set up a business is getting a good bookkeeper and a good accountant on board. Now, they're both very important. I will do a separate podcast purely around the accountant side, but this podcast I wanted to focus on the bookkeeper and why they're important. And so one of the things that came up for me, I had a bookkeeper very early on in my business, but it was more because I was in a networking group at the time, and the accountant in that group was the one that set up my company structure and did all of that for me. And they worked very closely with the bookkeeper in that networking group. So they essentially said, look, you should go and see them and get set up there. And they set up my Xero for me and all went well there. What I would say, there's a couple of things around bookkeepers that I learnt along the way. But one of the main thing that I want to highlight here is, well, a couple of things really. Number one, they're not as expensive as what you think they are. I was wondering how much this bookkeeper is going to cost me every week or month or whatever it is. And number two, it depends what you're getting them to do for you as well. So if nothing else, get your bookkeeper to, look, I use Xero. I've used Xero since day dot. I personally find it better that, like, I had a bit of a look at MyOb and QuickBooks, but those two didn't interest me, and everybody I spoke to was using Xero, so it just kind of made sense. And it's very easy to use. You've got an app on your phone. You can do it's just a really good program. And mine at the moment is costing me about $50 a month. I think there's an option where it's a little bit cheaper than that as well. But even look, $50 a month there, and even if you get the bookkeeper to do absolutely nothing else but your BAS every quarter, instead of you having to piss about and try and work it out yourself, it's worth it. Now, when I was the first 12 months, just over 12 months of my, or maybe 18 months of my business, that's all the bookkeeper was doing for me, was just doing my BAS. And I think it was costing me, from memory, about 100, 110, 120, something around that range per month. Per quarter. That was their fee to do the BAS. So look, you focus on what you're doing and you get somebody else that knows how to actually do all this sort of stuff, rather than, look, I'm pretty good with financial stuff and numbers and all of that, but pissing about trying to do a BAS, I just didn't even want to look at having to work it out. So it's not a massive investment, right? Even if you're paying $50 a month for Xero and you're paying $100 a quarter to get your BAS done, like, it's $1,000 for the year. And if you're running a business, it's probably a better investment than a lot of the things that you're going to invest $1,000 in the first year in business. Just to have that peace of mind that it's getting done. Xero's taken care of. It's all there. It integrates with, there's another app called HubDoc, another program called HubDoc, and you take a photo of your receipt. So you go and fill up petrol, you're sitting in the car, you take a photo of your receipt on HubDoc, it syncs to Xero, and then your bookkeeper goes in and goes bang, 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 everything's reconciled, and off you go. You forward all your invoices to this HubDoc program, and it just does it. And it's all integrated, it's all part of it, right? So, but getting a bookkeeper on that, don't be scared of it. Like when I got told by the accountant, go and get a bookkeeper, like I said, my first thing was, oh, fuck, how much is this going to cost me, right? And even now, I've got a bookkeeper that I don't just pay her to do my BAS, I pay her a monthly fee to look after, and even that is a lot less than what she's actually worth to me, like substantially less. Now, I'm not going to go and disclose her fees on a podcast, but it's a lot less than what you would think it is, right? And I know at this stage, between having, certain bookkeepers that are clients or friends or networking acquaintances, colleagues, whatever, I know about a dozen bookkeepers. So if you're getting stuck trying to find a good bookkeeper, hit me up and I'll point you in the right direction. There are plenty of them out there, and a lot of the ones I know, they're very, very good. Right? I've got a great relationship with mine. I can't see me ever probably leaving her unless she decides that she doesn't want to do it anymore, and then I'll have to go and find a new one. But she's amazing. But the other ones as well. There's so many good bookkeepers out there. Look, it would be like everything. There's going to be dodgy ones out there as well. But as I say, if you get stuck and you need a good bookkeeper, don't be scared. Hit me up and I'll point you in the right direction. I know plenty of them. But it's just a time-saving thing and a compliance thing. Like, do you really want to... let's pick a business. Let's say you're an electrician, right? That's your business. You know how to be an electrician better than 99% of people in the world. Probably more than that, right? That's your job. You're a fucking expert at being an electrician. Do you really want to go and sit down and have to work out how to do your books just to do your BAS and keep the fucking ATO off your back? Like, that's what it's for. You like getting a BAS. The BAS is there so that the ATO doesn't have to wait 12 months just to get paid their tax money every year. We're basically tax collectors for the fucking ATO. That's what the BAS is for. It's so that the ATO gets, every quarter, they get a lump sum of money into their accounts. So then they're not waiting and praying and hoping that people actually, after saving up 12 months of taxes, are actually going to pay it, rather than coming up with excuses 12 months later as to why they can't. So that's the idea. That's the reason the BAS exists. It's there so that the ATO gets their money quarterly. Do you really want to be the one that has to piss about with that when all you want to do is be an electrician? Like, fuck that. I've got way better things to do with my life than try and work out how to pay the ATO their money, right? And how to be compliant. Like, the amount of compliance bullshit. Even speaking to my bookkeeper, she says the amount of new compliance stuff the ATO sends out every week or every couple of weeks. She said it's always on a Friday afternoon, which would be a pain in the ass too. But, you know, they're always, but they're on top of it. That's their job. Like, you're an electrician, an amazing electrician. That's what you do. They're a bookkeeper. They're an amazing fucking bookkeeper. That's what they do. They love it. It's like me talking to fucking Telstra all day. People think I'm insane for it, but I love doing it. These people are bookkeepers. They piss about with zero and figures and accountants and ATOs and all this sort of thing all day. They love it. You might think they're insane. I might think they're insane, but they fucking love it, and they're geniuses at it, and they know what they're doing. So have a look. Don't be scared to at least investigate it, right? Find out how much it's going to cost. You will be surprised at how little it costs you. You really will. Like I said, even when I was just getting the BAS done, if you do nothing else with a bookkeeper, get them to do your fucking BAS and have your zero going, it costs you $1,000 for the year. That's fucking nothing when you're running a business. What's that, $80 a month, $85 a month on average? Like, that's nothing. So, look, this podcast rant, whatever it's more of a rant than a fucking podcast, this episode. But look, my advice to you is go and find a good bookkeeper. Like I said, I've got plenty of them. I'm more than happy to introduce you to one or two of them, and you can have a talk and see which one suits you best. But my advice is actually sit down with a bookkeeper or two, have the discussion, and you will find that they're not as scary as an accountant. You know, they're just, the accountants like the next level. The accountants are the ones that get paid the big bucks. They're the scary ones. But even still, you still need a good fucking accountant. And look, when I do the podcast episode for the accountants, I'll explain why you do, because the one I've got now is amazing. And when I compare to the one that started me out was fine, great, you know, very nice people and everything, and they did what they did. The guys I'm working with now are next level, and they're incredible. So, but this one's about podcasts. This one's about bookkeepers. Get yourself a good bookkeeper. Sit down with them. They're not as scary as you think, and it's going to save you so many fucking headaches, so much time, so much horse shit that you don't want to have to deal with, just to handball it to somebody else and say, here you go, sort this out. You love doing it anyway. I'm going to pay you $100 a quarter to do my BAS. Or I'm going to pay you X amount a month to look after my books. It's fucking worth it. It is worth every cent, and I can't believe how... I don't want to say cheap, because that makes it sound like it's cheapening their service, but I can't believe how inexpensive, let's say, how inexpensive the bookkeepers are for what they do. It blows my mind, but I'm not complaining. I'd rather them keep it at that same price, and I'm happy. Right, the typical thing at the end of the podcast, you got any questions, you got any feedback, if you do want to be introduced to a bookkeeper, let me know. I'm more than happy to make those introductions. Any questions, feedback, like I said, love to hear it. Otherwise, I'll speak to you on the next podcast. Cheers.